It was a chilly evening when Michael, a single father, took his 8-year-old son, Liam, for a walk through the park. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and purple hues. Laughter from kids echoed across the field, and for a moment, life felt peaceful. Michael smiled at his boy chasing fireflies. But just as they were about to head home, a sudden cry for help pierced the calm air. He turned sharply, his instincts as a father kicking in. Somewhere behind the benches, he heard a girl screaming, terrified, desperate, and alone. Without a second thought, Michael ran toward the sound. His heart pounded, his fists clenched. Behind the trees, he saw a man gripping a young teenage girl by the arm, dragging her toward a dark corner. She kicked, shouted, and begged him to stop. Michael didn't wait to ask questions, rage surged through him. "Hey!" he yelled, sprinting forward. The man turned, startled, but before he could react, Michael's punch landed square on his jaw, sending him stumbling backward into the dirt. The girl fell to the ground, trembling and crying. Michael positioned himself between her and the man, breathing heavily, ready for a fight. The stranger tried to get up, his eyes filled with shock and anger. "What the hell is your problem?" he spat, clutching his jaw. Michael's voice thundered, "Let her go. I'm calling the police." Liam, who had followed behind his dad, stood frozen, wide-eyed, gripping his toy car tightly. The man tried to argue, but Michael wasn't listening, his priority was the frightened girl. As Michael helped the girl to her feet, she clung to him, sobbing uncontrollably. "He tried to take me," she stammered. Michael nodded, reassuring her softly. The man tried to approach again, but Michael stepped forward, blocking his path. "You stay right there," he growled. Other people in the park began noticing the commotion. A few came running, phones out, recording or dialing emergency services. The man's confidence crumbled as witnesses surrounded them. He raised his hands defensively, trying to explain, "She's my niece." Michael froze for a moment, confused. "Your niece?" he repeated, glancing at the crying girl. Her face told a different story, pure terror. "No, he's lying," she shouted, shaking her head violently. The crowd murmured, unsure what to believe. The man's face twisted with anger. "She's just acting up," he barked. But the girl's trembling voice cracked as she said, "He's been following me for days, he isn't family." That was all Michael needed to hear. He grabbed his phone and called the police himself. Within minutes, the sound of sirens filled the air. The man panicked, trying to flee, but two bystanders caught him and held him down until officers arrived. Michael stayed close to the girl, wrapping his jacket around her shoulders. Liam stood beside his father, confused but proud. When the police arrived, they separated everyone for questioning. Michael explained everything, the scream, the struggle, the punch. The officers nodded, saying he had likely saved her life. The man, now handcuffed, stayed silent. After a tense few minutes, one officer approached Michael and said quietly, "Sir, the girl's name is Emily. She's been reported missing for 2 days." Michael's breath caught. He looked at Emily, who was now sitting on the bench with a blanket, her eyes red but relieved. The reality hit him, his quick reaction had stopped something terrible. Emily looked up at him and whispered, "Thank you." Michael just smiled, patting her shoulder. "You're safe now," he said gently, his voice full of emotion. Later, as they gave their statements, an older couple rushed into the park, crying, Emily's parents. The moment they saw her, they ran to her and embraced her tightly. Tears streamed down their faces as they thanked Michael repeatedly. "We thought we'd never see her again," Emily's mother sobbed. Michael stepped back, humbled, and said, "I just did what any father would do." His words carried the weight of his own struggles, raising a child alone, always living with the fear of losing someone you love. The police took the man away. Turns out, he had a record of similar attempts in nearby neighborhoods. Michael's brave act had stopped a predator. News of the incident spread quickly, people began calling him a hero. But to Michael, it wasn't about fame. It was about instinct. He looked at Liam, realizing how easily it could have been his son. That thought sent chills down his spine. He hugged Liam tightly, whispering, "Always stand up when someone's in danger." That night, when they returned home, Liam asked softly, "Dad, were you scared?" Michael smiled faintly. "Yes," he admitted, "but being brave doesn't mean you're not scared, it means you act anyway." Liam nodded thoughtfully. He had seen his father's courage firsthand, and it changed him. Before bed, Michael tucked him in and stared out the window, thinking about Emily, safe with her family again. For the first time in a long while, he felt peace. The next morning, Michael woke up to dozens of messages. Someone had recorded the scene, and it had gone viral. People called him, the dad with a hero's heart. But he didn't care about the attention. He cared that the girl was alive, that justice was served. Emily's parents visited that afternoon, bringing flowers and a thank you note. Emily ran up and hugged him tightly, whispering, "You're my hero." Michael's eyes welled up. That simple sentence meant more than any praise online. Days turned into weeks, but the story lingered. Liam proudly told everyone at school about his dad. Teachers invited Michael to speak about courage and community. Though he wasn't used to the spotlight, he agreed, hoping others would learn that small acts of bravery can change lives. "You never know," he told the students, "when a single decision can save someone." His words carried the quiet power of experience. Emily began visiting Michael and Liam often. She bonded with them, sometimes joining them for walks in the same park. Every time they passed that spot under the trees, Michael would feel a chill, but also gratitude. The place that once echoed with fear now held a story of hope and courage. Life had a strange way of connecting people, through pain, fear, and ultimately, kindness. Months later, Michael received an award from the city for his bravery. As he stood on the stage with Liam by his side, he felt proud, not of the medal, but of the message it carried. The mayor called him, a father whose heart saw what others ignored. Michael smiled modestly and said, "I didn't do anything special. I just couldn't look away." The audience applauded, moved by the sincerity in his voice. That night, back home, Michael placed the medal on the shelf beside a picture of his late wife. "You'd be proud," he whispered softly. Liam ran to him, wrapping his arms around his waist. "You're my hero too, Dad," he said sleepily. Michael smiled, kissed his forehead, and turned off the lights. Outside, the city hummed quietly, but somewhere in that calm, one brave father had proven that sometimes, doing the right thing means acting first and asking later. Subscribe to this channel and like it, thank you.